Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I wanted to watch PSG LGD versus Team ASTER. This was game 2 where ASTER was able to knock out arguably the greatest Chinese team of all time, maybe outside of Wings, and yeah, just put them in the dumpster. ASTER obviously proving to be one, if not the greatest Chinese team at the moment as well. They're playing absolutely fantastic. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the gameleap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the gameleap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Love their draft here, right? They really just stick to comfort and have no problem picking heroes they just think are good. For instance, here we see a Sven opener responded by a classic combo, Enigma Tiny, one of my favorite combos in the game. Brutally hard to lane against because of the toss under tower factor. Tossing people into Eidolons is brutal. In the mid game, tossing people into Black Hole and tossing people together for Black Hole. It's just one of my, literally, I love Tiny Enigma so much. Love the opener from LGD. But ASTER starts with the Sven, just straight up picks Sven, and then picks LINA into Enigma Tiny. Now, at first glance, I don't think LINA's good against Tiny or Enigma, right? I really don't. I don't think she's good at stopping Enigma's early game tempo, right? Like, what I mean by that is taking the safe lane tower. LINA doesn't typically rotate in. I don't think she likes repositioning tools such as Tiny. She really hates them, but they just pick LINA anyway. They don't care. Like, they don't care. They just think this is our strategy. We're gonna have a high armor LINA sitting in the back auto-attacking. We're gonna position well enough where she won't get, you know, destroyed by both of these heroes, because really, if I'm LGD, I'm like, okay, fine. They pick LINA, fine. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. We have our tools to get on top of her. Who cares? Neither of these heroes even care about Sven, right? The war cry, necessarily. So, and then they go for the snap, making the Sven pick even worse to an extent, right? Just pure magic damage coming out from Snapfire. He's not going to take Little Shredder, of course. So pure magic damage. Really hard for LINA to play this game immediately. We see the Gyro Mirana come out. A little bit surprised LGD didn't ban the Gyro. The Mirana is a bit odd to me. I think this is them just saying we need to get the vision advantage, right? We need to be able to get on top of LGD first, because otherwise they have the Black Hole, they have the repositioning of the Tiny. We don't have a hard initiator like that. Sven is not a great hard initiator because he can't reposition heroes, and he doesn't stun them for as long as a hero like Nyx might be able to. He doesn't do the burst damage and provide the vision that Nyx does. So Mirana is kind of the in-between. She's not necessarily, you know, a hard initiator, but she follows up the Sven stun, follows up Lina's stun, Rocket stun, and she gives them the vision game they need to enable Lina to stay in the back. So I like that pick as well. I think that's the main reason for it, honestly. It also lanes well into both Snap and Tiny because it outranges and outtrades both of these heroes quite handedly. We see a TB pick come out from LGD, which I found a little bit weird, I will admit. I don't think TB is... I think it's okay against Lina if it gets on top of her, you know what I mean? Like, because it buys Scotty. But it can be hard to do that. It is considered a gyro counter, and I do believe TB is one of the hardest gyro counters in the game. Because Rocket Barrage, you can't get up in TB's face in the mid to late game. You can't. He'll just destroy you. His base attack time and Scotty timing is way too good for gyro. Same thing for Lina. And so I get the concept here. He could struggle against all the magic damage if they can't get off the ground though. Right? Mirana, Starstorm, Arrow, Gyro nukes, Lina nukes, Sven nukes, and this easily could be a magic damage Lina. In fact, I highly suspect that this will be a magic damage Lina, so it doesn't have to stand still auto-attacking against the TB who wants to get on top of it, and an Enigma who wants to get on top of it through BKB. Instead, he can just ignore BKB, because it's a horrible Lina BKB game, into the Enigma and into the Scotty of the TB, and instead, she can opt for, right, the Aether Lens, Kaya, Ags type vibe. And I think that'll be way better with Boots of Travel, because none of these heroes clear waves effectively. Mirana is okay at it, but it's even slow. Gyro's not great, even Mars not great, and the Mars pick, just a well-rounded pick. They're keeping it simple on ASTER, rounding out their draft. They needed some AoE team fight. They want a hero that can just go in, tank the brunt of the damage, and enable the Gyro and the Lina to sit in the back and pump out their damage. So not a crazy Mars pick, not some crazy lane counter to TB, right? They could have maybe picked, like, I don't know, Underlord would have been probably better for the lane, or what else? Not a lot of heroes counter TB in lane. He's pretty rough, honestly. Current TB with the nerf of all the ranged dominators is pretty tough to beat in lane. So yeah, I think Mars is just a good pick. You don't have to beat the TB in lane. You can just out-tempo him, and the arena against the TB Metamorphosis is fantastic. So it's a great game for the Mars. Really, really solid pick. I'm not a huge fan of the hero. I think its numbers are underwhelming, and I think it's really easy to miss spear and then just be a complete bot the entire team fight. Like, even pros miss spear off cooldown because that ability's hard as hell. It's so hard, man. It's so easy to miss spear. So, you know, it's a risky pick. They go for the Kunkka. I will say I don't love the Kunkka pick. I get where they're coming from. It's like, hey, we just need to protect this TB. It's a god TB game. Mars makes it a little bit worse, but it's a really solid TB game. If we can keep the TB alive, my only problem with the TB is the Sven Warcry. I just feel like the Sven Warcry is too much armor, right? Like when TB is Scotty, he's gonna hit them for like 50 damage a hit with the Sven Warcry armor, like 60, 70 damage a hit. It's gonna be really pathetic. Maybe we'll see it play out. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I expect it. Before Daedalus comes out, Sven Warcry is going to be way too much for TB to handle, right? He does very sustained damage, which is horrible against Warcry. Absolutely awful. You're much better off picking something like Sven against Sven, you know what I mean? Obviously, you can't do that. But yeah, all right, that's all for the draft analysis. Let's head into the game and see how it plays out. Really what I want to do here is kind of just show off how good, ASTER is at team fighting and talk to you guys about how you could become, basically just better team fighters, better players when it comes to, these late game, mid game team fights. So either way, we're going to start with a fight that is 19 minutes in here. We're going to watch XXS on the Mars and specifically watch how he plays the fight. So they're Murano ult lead. Big fight breaking out. Only a 3k lead from ASTER, which is significant at minute 20, but isn't any guarantee that you're going to win the fight, right? A decent black hole could, turn the fight. So big thing to consider here is that it's not a free fight. On top of that, ASTER has a very hokey draft, right? They don't want to commit the gyro or the LINA that early yet because the gyro doesn't have BKB and the LINA BKB isn't a guarantee to save for this game against the Terrorblade, who now has an Aegis, and the Kunkka. Right, so how do they execute on this fight? It's very important that XXS looks for a spear that enables them to get a kill without committing. And that's what the spear does. They go for a spear that pushes them towards his team, and that's huge, right? That is absolutely massive, because what most people don't understand is that when you initiate in Dota, the further you go, the worse. Because the further you go, the easier it is for the enemy to pump out damage, the harder it is for your teammates to follow it up. It's a very simple concept, but most players don't really execute on this idea to the best of their ability. From there, we see a really nice arena onto Y and Faith Beyond. Neither of these heroes have the BKB yet, and so it's a great opportunity for them to catch people out. Ori does a great job on the LINA here, not getting black hold. Probably wouldn't have changed too much anyway, but they get a good God's Rebuke, he's able to kite out, and they win the engagement. But that really all starts with the spear. That's why, like, when you're playing any sort of initiator, your initiation completely changes how the game plays out, and most importantly, how that individual fight plays out, and hopefully you can see how that, all comes together. And now once again, we're going to see this play out in this team fight here. I really want you guys to see how he tries to spear and what direction he tries to spear. So starting off, he goes for it on nothing to say here. Unfortunately, nothing to say, BKBs, understanding that, right, they're going to go for this play. However, what he does next is really important as well. He doesn't need to trap anyone in the arena here. He knows that Terrorblade doesn't have a BKB, and therefore isolating him with the arena and zoning out everyone, at least the Terrorblade and the Snapfire, is really, really huge because it's going to keep this Gyrocopter who no longer has BKB alive. That's why LGD is running up the hill. They know Monet on the Gyrocopter has no BKB, so it's a huge opportunity for them to get in and take him out. However, with the zoned out Terrorblade, they aren't able to finish off the kill, at least not right away, and that's massive, right? That's absolutely huge because the Kunkka then overcommits, and it's a great fight. And that largely comes off him kiting out after his initiation. He kites out and then understands that he can use Arena to zone them out. On top of that, LINA does a great job in this team fight. You see a Shadow Blade build from Ori here. And what he does well is he Shadow Blades to the side. And I guess Faith Beyond kind of forgets about his existence because he comes out of nowhere. And I will admit, I think Faith Beyond messes up a little bit here. He probably should remember that LINA is Shadow Bladed or be aware of the fact that that could be the case because he does mess up and get gone on. Either way, it's a great pickoff, and most importantly, it's a pickoff that doesn't put him out of position. It most importantly doesn't put him in range of the Terrorblade, and that's really, really massive, as now he gets tossed in here, so unfortunately it does go down, but they had to commit really hard for that kill, and it's going to turn to an absolute massive team fight for ASTER as they chase down the Terrorblade. Eventually, I think they take him out. Oh no, oh, LGD, oh, okay, yeah, this is the fight LGD nearly came back on. So the next fight I want to watch from the perspective strictly of Ori on the LINA, and just watch how he kites, partially because of the haste, but to be fair, his movement speed is already 512, even without the haste room. So we're going to see a smoke play come out. What ASTER does really well here in particular is they ward the hill, right? So immediately they can have the vision of the enemy team. XXS with little hesitation goes in here, and I will admit I'm a little bit surprised Xingqiu wasn't able to get the blink out on the Tiny here. I definitely feel like he had the opportunity to, and that would have been pretty huge, right? Because they committed the arena, committed the Mars BKB, and that's two really, really big committals here. So a little bit surprised Xingqiu didn't get his blink off. But either way, Ori's going to go for the backline and just understands, hey, this snap is out of position. I don't need to make some crazy play where I'm going for a core. It's okay for me to take him out. And to be fair, even if that snap was, let's say, the gyrocopter, I'm sorry, let's say he was the Kunkka, that would also still be who he would go on because he doesn't want to overextend and go for some backline target. From there, honestly, what he does here is a little bit risky. He's dusted and he's just running forward. But I guess he feels with the BKB, he's fine. But I was definitely surprised to see him run in. Even here, he does get gone, so pretty big risk as he does have to kite out a little bit. Nukes up the creep camp, stays on the edge, understanding his BKB is over. And from there, he does a good job of kind of just waiting things out. And that's what you have to do when you don't have BKB. You just have to wait. And it's a pretty anticlimactic fight from him early on, but then he gets a massive stun onto the Tiny, solo killing him essentially. And that is huge, right? That is absolutely massive. From there, he Shadow Blades around, looking for the kill onto the Enigma. Enigma stops for just a second, and that picks him up a kill, kiting out once again. And that's what's so good about Ori in this team fight. He just finds target after target on the outside of the fight, and that's what they needed as he hits that. Oh, that spear was nasty as Terrorblade goes down. This MKB LINA is absolutely a hard Terrorblade counter if you can rip into him, and we see that there. Now, I will admit the last fight, or one of the last fights of the game here, is a little bit surprising because the fight starts with a casual homing missile onto Nothing to Say. And I've stressed this I made a video briefly on Gyro, and I stressed how important the casual homing missile is. And he just threw it down on him, right? He threw it down, the shard does a little bit of damage, but I guess he didn't realize it was on him. At least that's what it seems like, because he gets stunned, and there's no save on the side of LGD, right? They don't have a save hero. They can try to toss out, but that's a great hex to, prevent the toss out, which didn't even seem like it was gonna work. And they pick up a massive double kill just right away on the high ground defense. And it literally stems in a professional match for millions of dollars. Their winning fight stems from a casual homing missile, and that's it. We see a solid black hole onto Ori from Fate Beyond. Pretty understandable why he would go for that. However, the Terrorblade just isn't able to do enough. Good stunner on his part, but the Warcry comes out, and they're just a little bit too tanky for him to get through. And that's the end of the game. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I know this was a bit of a shorter video in terms of gameplay, but I just want to talk about a couple of the key things that I noticed in this game that enables ASTER to be such a dominant team. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, before you tune out, subscribe to the gameleap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.